Well, good morning and welcome to Wednesday Wellness. Thank you for joining our program. And our program is always one of inspiration, motivation, and positivity. On Wednesday, our goal as we present our podcast is always to work on something that we are getting well from, or something that we need doing this day. I want you, as you are in our week's series for healing your inner child, to really think about this picture that you're looking at. I want you to think about that and what that picture speaks to you. And as you enter into the room or wherever you are with this podcast, now we all have different perception of how you and I view things. Could that be a father seeing himself as he is a child? Or could it be the son looking at the father, or thinking about growing up? Whatever your perception is, we're going to talk about it and what it says to you. We are so very grateful for being able to have a platform like this, and I'll tell you why we're grateful to have a platform like this. Because there are things that we need to speak into ourselves as well as others. We are, by the way, recording live, as well as you're being able to see all of our entire programming wherever you're streaming your favorite podcast. We always make occasion to speak to the fathers for nothing other than to show fathers how important you are in your child's life. Remember on our first day of our series of healing the inner child, do you remember me saying that you have both mother and father? If you're here, if you're breathing as a human, you got here by both mother and father. No matter what your situation is in life. Because I hear so many people say, I didn't have a father. And we're going to talk about verbiage in what we speak into ourselves. As I began to even do child development, become a parent, be around other parents, let's speak well into ourselves first. What are we teaching ourselves? And I do want your perception or your insight into what this picture is saying. What this picture is saying to you. It won't let me. Well, when a child is born, both mother and father had a lot to do with that child being born. Let's start crediting dads and moms. I never wanted to hear a child say they don't have a father. Because what you're speaking into them is not well. You know, when they grow up, they want to have a dad just like everyone else. And when they start to get into their primary years, they're going to notice other people. Good morning, and welcome to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion. We are in series number 2 of Healing the Inner Child. Thank you for joining us. Where are you listening in from, please, and thank you. Now, as you are thinking about your inner child and how you want to accept and embrace the fact that you indeed do have a, maybe you don't get a chance to spend time in their life as you would like, whatever the situation is. But I want us to start healing ourselves today. Let's give ourselves a sense of grace and find our space with this. Let's first write down that everyone has a father, or everyone has had a father, because sometimes we speak in ourselves ill will from the beginning. You got here because of a dad. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning.
So everyone has a dad. I have a dad. You have a dad. Let's establish that the way that our brain speaks to us. Now, although my dad is no longer alive, I still got here by a dad. Everyone get that? You were born with both mother and father. We must teach ourselves that whatever happens in life, that we are enough. See, the father plays just as much of importance in the role of your child, your inner child, and everybody's child. The father and the mother play a vital role, important, significant. Let's change our verbiage today. If your dad is no longer alive, if you never see your dad, you have a father. Because when you say there's no father, in working with children, the most negative thing that an educator could have said, oh, there's no father in the home. maybe a reality, but what are you saying? Because there's no father in the home, that's why the child may be having learning difficulty, not like the other children, the most one that acts out. What are you saying? And I want you parents to really walk away with something of wellness in your heart, in your mind. So you know the one that the educator says no father in the home? They've already put a badge on your child. Because if no father is in the home, this is why they might be acting out. We need to stop that. Because, pretty soon that child is going to hear, I'm not good enough because everybody else has a dad. That's why I always liked the father-daughter dances. So I was a little concerned as an educator, why is there no mother-son dance? Because you see, both parents are vital. As we look at this beautiful picture, there is a son who may be taught by his son, or vice versa. There is a father that is teaching a son. Their reflection from each other. That could be a mirror. For all you know, the dad may be thinking about how he grew up, and the son may wish to grow up, be a man, be a father, be a protector, eventually one day. Good morning and welcome, Molly, to our program. There's a lot to be said, a lot to speak out to me when I found this picture. Parents, how are we doing in relation to our children? What are we saying to them? One of the things that I really especially liked about this picture is that they're learning from each other. You see, it's a simple tie that the son is learning about. It is those moments of how to do something that we simply call teaching someone something. This picture spoke volumes to me. How are we doing? We first learned to heal ourselves. Good morning and welcome to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We're so glad to have you as part of our audience. We're talking about healing your inner child. Yeah, maybe this is a good place for you today, and I hope you'll do better. By the way, guys, Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, after the show, we always give you guys a chance to meet with us person to person. If you'd like that, we're live on Facebook where Trish writes all the information. Today we're going to talk about our inner child. And I want to ask you, you say not good. Why are you not good today? And thank you for being brave enough to really say how you felt. Thank you so much. Trish, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you have a headache. Well, I hope you're going to take care of that headache. And I hope you feel better. Back to wellness. What are we speaking into our children? What are we saying without saying? We're going to do some work in here today. Your inner child. Everyone has one. A lot of people say, well, I didn't have a father. I didn't have a father. Well, we've learned in the first few minutes of Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast that you indeed did have a father. See, it's going to be verbiage here. Maybe the father that you were born from didn't have you, didn't support you. Maybe he wasn't in your life long enough. Maybe he didn't spend the quality time that you needed as a child. Who can relate to that? Anybody here? Is there, hi Maddie, is there anybody here that can truly relate to what I'm saying? Because what I want you to do is start welling yourself by thinking about the verbiage that you are using. And say what you really feel. If your dad was not there, I want you to think about that you were good enough to have been born from both mother and father. Stop taking that from yourselves. You're good enough. You were born from both parents. Now, raised is a different word. Yes, I have a father. Yes, I have a mother. But speaking to your inner child, how did it affect your life? We're going to talk about that today. Because sometimes, remember we learned in series 1 of Healing Your Inner Child, no parent is what? What do you think, Trish? No parent is what?
Perfect.
No parent is perfect. No child is perfect. But we want you to use the verbiage of wellness into your life by saying, my mom was there, my dad was there, so therefore I do have a mother and a father. Everybody get that? Or do you guys need me to repeat it? Because some of us are making ourselves invaluable. How do we do that? Well, let's go back to what I said, because people are coming in. You say, I didn't have a father. Or you say, I didn't have a mother. But today you have learned that you indeed had a mother and a father. And you are to be valued because you were birthed by mother and father. Although I know what you mean, it's the way you were born. Our audience member asked a question. We're all dealing with something. You're okay. Learn to embrace that. Learn to embrace whatever you were born with. It's so important. But let's go back. And you may respond by putting in the questions or asking the questions or speaking as we present this live this Wednesday wellness. I want you to speak well into yourself by saying, what exactly was it like as your inner child? Everyone in the room, I want you to put your age as you are right now. I'm going to put mine. I'm 56. Trish, how old are you?
22.
Maddie, how old are you? And anybody that's listening, I want you, because this, what I'm getting ready to say is going to be a point that I'm making, and I want to see if you will get it. Okay. Maddie, how old are you, babe? Your age, and every year, your age is added to. How many of you remember when you were 5? Remember what it's like when you're 5?
I do.
Anybody? Yeah? I'll tell mine first. When I was 5, I was so scared. Good morning, welcome to our program. Those of you who are coming in, where are you listening in from, please? And thank you. We're talking about listening to your inner child. And that's what we're talking about, the way we speak to ourselves. So at 5 years old, what do you remember, Trish? 5 years old. And for those who are listening, go back to your age of remembering. Okay, Marilyn, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all for coming in. This week is going to be a very special week as we are dealing with our inner child when you were younger. What was that like for you, Trish? And at what age do you remember vividly?
I remember 5 and 6 years old, real clear. A specific memory I remember from those ages, I had I had a gown and it had a tutu at the bottom of it, and I would spin around like a ballerina while my dad was playing the piano, and I'll always try to do dances for my parents. That was just me always trying to put on a show. So that's the memory I had. The memories I have.
Oh, yeah? I bet that was cute. Anybody else? Because I don't want to be greedy. Anybody else in memories? Who else wants to go next? Put it in your box. Uh, one of our audience members, thank you so much, from Maryland says, I miss being that young. And that they like to be little again. And they say I used to run around the yard pretending I was Batman. How was that memory for you all? Are you, Trish, and you, um, um, our audience member from Maryland? How was that for you? Good morning, and thank you guys for coming in. Rosie, good morning. If you want to, Jay, how was that for you, being like Batman? Because those are so you guys have said some significant things, and stay with me. What was that like for you, running around in the yard being Batman? And Trish, what was it like for you while your dad was playing the piano with the gown, and you were are with the piano, and you spun around like a ballerina. What was that like for you?
It was fun, and it's fun remembering those things
Thank you,
as well
Rosie.
for me. It's fun remembering those things for me as well. Those were fun times because I liked seeing my parents smile and stuff like that. You know how kids are. Hey, mom and dad, let me show you what I can do. so
Uh-huh.
so that's
Yeah.
how I felt.
Rosie, where are you listening in from? Your state? Where are you listening in? Jay wrote, because your comments are important, guys. So this is an interactive podcast. I want you to write how you feel if you want to. Um, Jay says, me and my cousin would go out to play. And sorry, I don't have my glasses on. We'd go out to play in the woods and play in the yard and get dirty and come back to your Mima and to your Mima's house and get in the shower, and we didn't have a care in the world. Thank you so much. Please forgive me. We didn't realize those times were short. Ah, what you all have just proven, and they were the best. Thank you for that, Jay. What you all have just proven is that you all have memory. Let's give credit to our beautiful brains. The fact that you are capable of recalling your childhood, that is connecting with your inner child. In case anybody didn't realize it, you just connected with your inner child. Nobody's heard from me, right? I'll tell you what my life was. Going to school for me, I remember I did not want to leave my mom's sight. No way, no how. And I cried. And I cried and I cried because I did not want to go to kindergarten. Because that meant I had to leave my mother. And my mother told me, I remember her being in the class, and she said, I'll be right back. you know, as a kid, you're counting on your parent to be there. And my mom did not show up back in the classroom because she had to go. And I remember that. That was very traumatic for me as a child. But you know what I realized as an educator? That many children had that same anxiety when they feel detached from their parent for whatever reason. Maybe life wasn't as simple as running through the yard, getting dirty, or twirling around as a ballerina. Maybe there's some of you that are out there that were never, ever having that kind of memory. Can you see a reflection of yourself being yet your younger self? Some of us remember more tragedy than we do triumphs, more sadness than we remember joy. I want you never, ever to forget that. And as a kid, where do you place that if there is no one there to teach you where does the where where do I belong? What am I supposed to do? This picture that you all are looking at cracked me up, and I'll tell you why it cracked me up. Because look at him. This baby is on top of the counter. He can't be any more than 3, 5, my guess. What would you guys all guess?
I say 5.
Yeah. His dad is teaching him, or he's looking into the mirror of what he's been shown to do. He's mimicking the father. How are we doing with that? Have we gotten away from, and I'm going to read your comment in just a minute, Jay. We look back on our life. Remember what I said. Speak well into yourself, because we have all had a mother and a father. We're going to talk about that tie, because that tie is symbolizing something that may have affected all of us. I'm going to read Jay's comment, and then I'm going to go to break. After the first year of kindergarten, my dad got me and my cousin guns that we would shoot squirrels, frogs. When he would get home from work, he would come out and wrestle with us. Good times, Jay? That sounds like fun. I want to be in his life. That sounds fun. I can relate, Jay. Not so much with the squirrels and all that, but I would play with my boy cousins all the time. But that sounds so fun. No, I want you to. You're doing the work. That's what we're here for. I want you to do that. I want you to do that. So don't apologize. That's why I ask you about your memory. Now, I'm going to go to break, because what I have to tell you is very deep. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Cause we're called vibetalkfacingthelionpodcast. Go check your favorite streaming platforms. Feel free to be interactive and tell us your story. By Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and so much more. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Go give it a shot. Thank you, Jay. We are live on Facebook right now, so if you guys want to go and hit the page or come on there with us, you may. But you'll get a podcast for sure, dealing with all of the emotions, your mental and emotional health, because we have to talk about those things. I want to thank you all in advance for being so brave, because you're doing the work. So you don't need to apologize, Jay. We appreciate you. The tie. What and how do we teach our inner child? Wording and verbiage is everything. Our parents have done the work and helping us to speak. We all have voices, right? And I want you, with your voice, to just say hello to yourself. Has everybody done that? Just say hello to yourself. It's better if you do it where you can see a reflection of yourself for the very first first time you're going to be introduced to your older self. And as you stand in that mirror and reflect of yourself, what are you seeing? What version of yourself have you been taught to love or hate? Tough question. I told you it was going to get deep. What parts of yourself as a very young child were you challenged from? Because as you already know, nobody living has had a perfect life. We're going to give ourselves reality check. We do realize that some have had better lives than others. But I want you to be able to say hello to yourself and embrace yourself. Uh-oh, here we go. We're going to do the embraceable hug today. I want you to take your hands, I want you to fold them around your shoulder as if you were hugging someone. The only person that I want you to hug right now is yourself after introduction to yourself. Now, how do you all feel doing that? Because some of us have not done that for the first time. And if you're here for the first time, you just introduce yourself in connection with your inner child. If you've ever said the word, nobody has hugged me like that before. I gotta tell you something. My mother always hugged and kissed us kids goodnight. That's what she taught. That tie is symbolic of what are you learning? What have your parents taught you? What have they spoke into you? Because remember, I'm 56. I'm going to read your comment in just a minute, Jay. Because it's important to me to acknowledge what you're saying. Maybe we didn't learn how to tie a tie. You know, I had two boys. And I didn't know how to tie a tie. So I bought clip-on ones. Well, boys, they don't like that. But they were taught to tie their ties. What are we instilling in our children? What are we speaking into them? Because your memory has that logged. The tie is representation of the things we are taught to do. If nobody's ever hugged you, are you going to hug people? No, because that's awkward to you. I'm going to take a break and read Jay's comment. He says, the best part about this age is the innocence. After the age of 10, I started experiencing things that I will never unsee, unhear, unfeel. Thank you for that, Jay. That's why we do this program. I want you to take those words, Jay, and anybody else who feels like my audience member. And thank you for your brevity and your courageous lion power to be able to say that. I want you to be able, good morning, and thank you for joining Vibe Talk Facing the Lion. Matt, where are you listening in from? What town or state? Please and thank you, no addresses. I want you to write down this word, Jay. The last sentence that you said, you will never, Oklahoma, welcome. you will, after 10, I want you to write the number 10, Jay. And you are safe here. Write the number 10. And then I want you to write down one of the major factors of the thing that you heard, you saw, and you felt. One of each. And I want you guys to think about this because we do work in here. Our memory is long. The brain is so marvelous. It keeps account of every experience you've ever had. We were doing a book called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, and I felt that that book was crucial to my life because there was a dear friend who brought that book to me and asked me to read it. And I read it, and it changed my life. And that book, Trish, if you want to put that down in our Facebook Live, it is on audio. I would recommend it to everyone. Jay, I want to say thank you for your lion power. So courageous. When we think about the switch offs that our brain has done, we protect ourselves throughout our lifetime. Because, see, we become just like Jay. We never forget those emotions. And did anyone recall that Jay set an age 10? I can relate to you, Jay. I'll leave that right there. I can relate to you. You see, those are our formative years, and if something happens to us that's good, ugly, or traumatic, our memory goes back to that. And it changes the people that we want to become. We're going to give you an expression of that tomorrow. So I hope you're all here tomorrow. You're going to see how it works. Thank you for that, Jay. That was triggering for me, Jay. And sometimes we need to be triggered. You're safe. By the way, I'm not a doctor. I am a life coach. I am certified to help you understand your life, help you to get on track as you're helping me. And I do one-on-ones with people by Zoom or video. So if you want to get with me, you can do that. No age limit. We do. Thank you for that, Jay. He is using his chat. I love that. I want you all to start using your chats. No, there's no age limit, Jay, but there is if you are under 18, okay? You're 17, you're good. But we always want you to know we don't want 5-year-olds in here without their parents. We want ages of maturity. If you want to be not known even by a name, you don't have to. You're 17. That's a good age, don't you think, Trish?
Yeah, I think so.
And you're a matured person. You can even come in and just listen if you want to. But we encourage you to talk because those feelings, they don't go away. Like the book says, feelings buried alive never die. Go listen to that book. We covered the majority of it that we needed to cover. And we have earlier recordings with that book. And all you have to do is hashtag Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, and you'll see it, or join our Facebook page or Instagram page. The logo is right in the middle of the picture. Can't miss it. So what are we speaking into our children? How do you understand the language between you and your inner child? You see, because age and memory connect. That's why I like to ask, at what age do you remember? What age did you start feeling the emotions? Like you said, life was so fun. You were in the yard, you're playing uh, Batman, right? Kind of a sense of normalcy, and then bam, something happens. I want to speak to you and not at you, Jay. Are you listening? You survived it. You survived it because you're here. When you can't survive something, no one knows the emotion but yourself. You said 10 was the biggest reality check for me. Yeah, me too. I can relate, even though different experiences. Why was 10 a big reality check for you? If you care to talk about it. If you're not comfortable, that's okay. But we are here for you. What are we saying to that inner child? You know, the inner child being able to experience what it has been taught or what you have been taught, because we're going to speak in the first voice. What you have been taught is from memory. Memory. And in there, your memory, there are dormant things that are lay dormant. That means it's like a rug that you never shake out, a rug that you never sweep under. It just lies there. We want you to learn how to be vibrant speakers, to use your voice. Remember how I talked about how the parents teach us how to talk and we learn verbiage? It is amazing to me when I see different nationalities and a kid has picked up a whole nother language. It just blows me away. I was in the store, a kid was talking to their parents, and it couldn't have been any more smaller. Good morning. For those who are coming in, thank you. I'm going to read your comment before I say what I have to say. We were going to a baseball game in Baltimore City, and when we were walking from the, bear with me, when you were walking into the stadium, oh, oh my goodness, you said that uh, someone was stabbed. Can repeat that again, because I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Good, for being here. You watched the someone yet. I'm sorry. Oh, someone got shot. Wow. I'm so sorry that I was reading that wrong. I don't have my glasses. I'm so sorry. So what happened was Jay was brave enough to tell. Now I can see it. Someone got shot, and as you were walking, you saw that. They pulled a pistol and started, wow, putting shots in the crowd of sports fans. I get it now. I'm going to read that over. Sorry, guys. We we were going to a baseball game in Baltimore City, and when we were walking from the parking lot to the stadium, some guy pulled a pistol and just started, wow, putting shots into the crowd of sports fans. How did that make you feel going back to your memory? Thank you for the work you guys are doing. Beautiful. How did that make you feel, Jay? And thank you so much for your courageousness, because your story is going to help someone, Jay. They will hear this. How did that make you feel? Because the things that we see and hear affect us for life. Come a little closer when I say the things that we hear and feel and see affect us for life. Your inner child, how did that make you feel? You're thankful you survived. Your uncle instructed you and your cousin friend to go under a parked vehicle, and you were terrified. Did you write that number 10, by the way? Did you write the number 10 in the things that I asked you to write? Because if you wrote that number 10, thank you so much. If you wrote the number 10, I want you to put under that 10, terrified. So now that you've gotten a little older, how does it make you feel when you think of a baseball game, or you might pass by a baseball game? We're going to show you how the memory works. How does it make you feel? Are you triggered or what? Trish, are you still there? You can chime in at any time.
Yes, I'm still here.
How did that make you feel? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we must face our inner child. The thing that I liked that he said, good morning and welcome. Thank you all for coming in. So you don't associate the memory with the sports. You associate with the city that you were in, Baltimore, which is why you don't go to the city. Listen to that. You see what the memory does. Good morning for those who are just coming in. Is it Candace? Good morning. You see, he sticks to the countryside and small towns because you were affected. The best thing that I like about your experience though you had to, you were there and you experienced that, is you said you were given instruction by your uncle, who basically gave you safe space or had you understand instructions to be safe. Some of us don't get that. Our inner child may not have felt safe. Nobody came to tell us, okay, this tragedy has happened and I'm here. Today's song has got to be there by the Jacksons. That's in our reel with this picture, Vibe Talk Reel, or our Facebook page. It will be there. It will be on YouTube. By the way, we have a YouTube channel. We encourage you, please go join that page. You have a fear of large crowds. You see the word fear? Fear. See, fear is a big word. It's a small verbiage, but the bigger picture of fear and being afraid takes on a whole new perception. But what we do know is the mind gets triggered. In other words, you are affected. Your inner child is affected because that happened when you were 10. And your inner child is going back to that trauma. And that's why we're here to help you to get help from the trauma. You have a fear of large crowds. Me too. Because large crowds is just anxiety for me. I'm
I do.
getting better. You do too, Trish? Wow. We thank you for your stories, and we're asking if you guys are dealing with mental and emotional health. We aren't doctors. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a educator. I'm retired, and now I am in the work of mental and emotional healing with discussion. I will give you resources if you feel like you need help for crisis, depression. If you're feeling unsafe, we have a crisis line. Trish, you can put that there. We want to thank everyone. We're not done. We need to go to commercial, and after I come back, we're going to go to Trisha's Treasures. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Facing the lion is always positive. And so I ask you today, as we are going to be facing our lions or challenges of the week, what did you face this challenging? Saturdays, come and join me as I radio host Vibe Talk After Dark. What song can I play for you? Check us out. Saturday After Dark radio show. We're back. And I'm going to turn it over to Trisha's Treasures. Trish?
when I saw this picture on the front, I was like, at first I thought it was a mirror of a person doing doing their tie with their younger self. And then when I found out it was a dad, it was like a whole different outlook for me, because my dad, he inspires me a lot, and I look up to him. And what made me think so hard about this photo is an experience when I was 19. My dad, he got into a car accident, and I was in class, and my siblings, they were texting me, and they told me that he got into a car accident. At first, I thought they were joking, because I never thought anything like that could happen. It seemed unreal to me, and it felt like a dream. But fast forward, I'm back at home, and I have to step up as an older sibling. I have to step up and cook while my mom and dad are gone. My mom's taking care of my dad, and seeing how he's doing in the hospital. And that experience right there, it made me realize that
Thank you, Jack.
it made me realize I take a lot of stuff for granted with spending time with my father. And as when I was 19, I thought, in my mindset, I thought, we'll always have time. We'll always build our relationship later on down the line. Like, we'll just do it little by little. And that's okay. But when that happened, I was like, we didn't have time to do this. Like, I wanted to do this with my dad. I wanted to talk to him about where I wanted to be in life and things like
Good morning. Welcome.
where I wanted to be in life and things like that. And because when that happened, I was like, I have to start now. And when I saw him like that, I broke down, because and things started flashing in my head. I was like, I was thinking about when I was a kid, my dad, when I was in the hospital, going through surgeries and things like that. He was there, and he was, my first dance. My dad he's still with us. It's just that moment right there made me realize I have to cherish my father while he's here. And I do that now. And my dad, he's a big inspiration to me. I look up to him, and now I try my best to continue to build our relationships, to always speak to him and not pretend like he's not there, to let him know, hey, dad, I see you. You're still my dad, and I respect you, and I love you. I let him know that. So if you have a father, everyone has a father, but if your father is present in your life, acknowledge the presence that he is in, that he is has taken in your life. And because time is not promised, it's precious, and tomorrow's not promised either. So spend the time with your dad and learn things from them. Talk to your parents. They have wisdom, even though sometimes they get on our nerves. But they have lots of wisdom, and we're gonna need it when we leave them or when they leave us. So yeah.
True lion power. Did everyone catch that when Trish said present? Everyone has a dad. I want you to will yourself into knowing that. You didn't get here by osmosis. You didn't just drop off uh, from planet Ozark. You were born. You were born to be. You were born with a purpose. Everyone has a dad, a father, a mother, a mommy, a mom. But she said the word present. However you perceive, whatever you think, whatever you feel, I want you to understand that the child in you can be well, get well, and stay well. Everyone has an inner child. You know, when we start speaking like that, people think we're crazy. When I was getting into coaching, you have to do a lot of studying. It's not just saying you're a life coach. You need to do the work for this. And I learned something about the inner child. We never heal ourselves completely if that inner child has not been fixed. That inner child will always introduce themselves to you. And I want to thank Jay for the work that he did in this class. That's not easy to walk in this group and start doing the work, because first people don't know how or what to say. And he did the work. He did the work. Every childhood is not the bravest. Every childhood may not have had a happy ending, but the fact that you have survived it teaches all of us something. You were strong, brave, and courageous. And if nobody told you that as a child, you must embrace yourself. We learned that today. We learn how to introduce ourselves just by saying hello. We learn the perception of the way we perceive ourselves. Trisha touched on that with the picture, because that was the first thing I said when we opened up about this picture and how we're looking at this picture. You said you thought it was a father looking into a mirror, and I just said that. People will think that, or people will think that the boy is looking at a reflection of himself, or the father is remembering himself. Either or, they're thinking about what life has taught them. That young boy is mimicking his father, who will be a reflection of himself and learn and grow. What will he be? Nobody can say that. What we do know is the healing of yourself begins with that little boy or little girl first. I want to say thank you to everyone before we go. I have an announcement I want to make that made such an impact on me. I want to tell you about it because I totally support it. There is a page called The Hurt Twins. Have you heard about it, Trish?
No, I haven't.
The Hurt Twins. I'm going to give you some information. Hurtt. That is how you spell Hurt. His name, last name. That father has taken care those children from the first day I watched with the twin boys. They're so cute. However, their page started going viral. Little did we know that he was in a family custody without giving you so much information. The mother ended up getting the children after all this time. He was so hysterical. He's asking that everyone, if you know of someone, especially you fathers, if you feel like you're fighting a losing battle or you're being threatened that the kids are going to be taken away, he's asking, please, to share this news. The Hurt twins. The page is going to be taken down, he says, because of the court things that are going on. No one knows what that feels like unless you are a parent, and that's happened to you. We can relate. We can have empathy for you, or sympathy, because the empathy is a step further, that you have been in those Cinderella shoes. But here's a thought. We're about humanity here. And when we hear stories like this, it breaks my heart, because I love it when the fathers are just as important as the mothers. Without knowing the entire case, he, however, has lost his children. What do we want? To go and support him by way of, this is a black father. Any father is good enough for me. But he has stood by those children, and my heart just literally broke yesterday. I want to share news with you because I know how important it is, because I know that my children will be dads someday. Please go and follow this page, you fathers. It's called the Hurt Fathers Advocacy. What is that page for? To uplift our men and change the stereotypes that dads are getting. Children need their dads. It fit perfectly with this, and I planned this some time ago, but I just got the information about this with the dad. I planned this series some time ago, but everything, I don't know if you've noticed that, Trish, everything that we're doing always matches up. So this is the Hurt, Hurt, fathers, plural, more than one, advocacy. Follow that page, and pass it on to fathers. I would like to bring him here on our program. And I'm going to write to him today. Here is the email in case you want to give him some encouragement. The Hurt Twins, TheHurtt, TWINS, the Hurt Twins at gmail.com. I will have Trish put this on our community board. Trish, I will send this to you. I want to say thank you to everyone that was in here. Jay, thank you for your story. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Trish, thank you. You always cease to amaze me, because out of you comes beauty, and that's a blessing. Out of all of you, as you heal your inner child, because everybody has one. There is beauty. Tomorrow, we're going to be right back here tomorrow, and we're about to do an assignment. I thank every one of you, and I challenge you to get well, stay well, and be well. Live Talk Facing the Lion podcast is streaming everywhere you're listening to podcasts. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday Wellness. Before we go, what did you learn and discover about yourself? Me, I have learned that it is okay to talk about the memories. We never have to apologize because that's just it. There are memories. We don't have to feel like parents are going to be upset with us. We don't always have to tell them that they were perfect parents because nobody is perfect, just like they don't tell us we're perfect children. We've said what we've said, and as long as you understand, it is all that matters. Feed in, speak into your inner child, and speak wellness. Because you see, that little boy is going to grow up. That little girl is going to grow up and remember her childhood. Let's make every childhood something to talk about. In wellness, I say to you, Trish, what did you learn and discover about yourself? By the way, I was triggered, very much so today.
I learned that today I discovered that the accident my dad had, it still triggers me a little bit. It still bothers me because it's little signs, and that's okay. It's just I'm still healing from that traumatic experience. And what I learned today is that fathers that are there are fathers and there are fathers that are present, and being in the presence of the child impacts them very well, because I know, because my daddy has been there for me, and it impacted me in a very positive way. And my experience here today, it was empowering and reflective.
Yeah. So be careful how you teach your inner child as you get to know your memories and what they were like. Maybe you wish that life was different. We had somebody that wished their life was different. And that's okay, but it wasn't. Now you can train your inner child to be the grown-up adult, nurturing the way you need it to be nurtured. Because the way that you're teaching is a way that your inner child has learned. We must reality check that. You'll see this on YouTube, so go and enjoy it. You'll see it all over the podcast. You'll see it on our Facebook pages at Vibe Talk. Just follow it. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, we want you to add to it, because you make Vibe Talk grow, and you make Vibe Talk have its own platform. Thank you for joining us, and we're going to be right back here tomorrow, and we have a really deep assignment. I think you're going to enjoy it. Have a good day, and I wish you wellness. resolution. I want you to see your own. I was really about the moms and they might got the vibe with it. I really took a smile with it. I really looked around with it. You really got the vibe with it. I took a smile with it. I really looked around with it. You can really see I'm better you. When you get the vibe with it. Yeah, when you get the vibe with it. Yeah. I gotta just say something. It's about commitment.